Let's talk about you being a whistleblower. How do you define whistleblower?
No whistleblower sets out to be a whistleblower, and like every other whistleblower I've met, I didn't think I was one at the beginning, but there's a legal definition of whistleblowing. A whistleblower is any person who reveals evidence of waste, fraud, abuse, or illegality, and that's what I did.
Yeah, when I'm in my research about you and your particular case, I found this fact interesting that the author of the Intelligence Identities Protection Act volunteered to serve as an expert witness for your defense, and that previous cases showed that the law that was used to prosecute you was effectively applied when there was evidence of malintent.
Yes.
And you had no malintent,
No.
and yet the judge dismissed those previous cases where the
Yes.
intent was the crux of the argument. So do you
Yes.
believe this particular case and your particular case could be harmful precedent for other whistleblowers?
Oh, absolutely. Like President Obama, like the president uses the Espionage Act as a political weapon to silence dissenters. I think it's very easy to use the Intelligence Identities Protection Act to silence CIA dissenters. And I think that's what happened to me. I'm only the second person in American history to have been convicted of violating the Intelligence Identities Protection Act. And the first person was a woman, a CIA secretary, who was having an affair with a foreign intelligence officer. And she gave him the names of every CIA officer in the station, as well as the names of the recruited assets that the station was running. Now, that's malintent.
Right.
What I did was not malintent. I never had any criminal intent, and certainly there was no harm to the national security. But my judge said that those issues were irrelevant, and I was prosecuted anyway.
Do you believe the U.S. Justice Department is actively seeking to silence whistleblowers?
Yes, I do. And this really started with Tom Drake at the NSA. Tom Drake, Kirk Wiebe, and Bill Binney at the NSA. They went to the oversight committees on Capitol Hill to complain about waste, fraud, and abuse at NSA, and to show that that millions and millions of the taxpayers' dollars were being wasted on a system that was illegally collecting data on American citizens. And for going to Capitol Hill and complaining to the legitimate overseers of NSA, they were charged with espionage. In Tom Drake's case, he was charged with 7 counts of espionage before the case just fell apart and all the charges were dismissed.
Do you think that there are people today who have seen these particular cases of whistleblowers and what has happened to them and are thinking, why should I blow the whistle? Or do you think
Yes.
maybe on the opposite end of the spectrum that people are seeing what you've done and are inspired to really stand out and speak up?
I would be very pleased if people were inspired. I know Ed Snowden said to the New York Times that I had inspired him to go public with what NSA was doing. But I think that most people are afraid to come forward. They're afraid to contact representatives of the press. And indeed, reporters have said that since my prosecution, their own sources have just dried up.